Chats with Trae. Chats with Trae.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Chats with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. And this week, I'm really excited to have with me Erika Massaquoi of the Oula company. And if you guys see this right here, this amazing outfit and this amazing mask and fabric that I'm wearing today, it comes directly from her shop. So thank you so much, Erika, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And you wear your Oula well.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I love the name of your company because, as someone said earlier, it's like, ooh la la.
It is Oula la. That was fun that he said it. And we can start with that. What does Oula mean? It's actually a derivation of my great-grandmother's name. Her name was Lula, and it means will and determination and resilience. So I thought that was a fitting name for a company and a way for me to honor the women in my family.
Amazing. I mean, well, you know what? One of the things that I'm really excited about in having you on today is because, you know, we've been so wrecked with so much, you know, politics and COVID and this and that, you know, rent moratoriums, all of this serious stuff. And I just sometimes, as a woman, sometimes I just want to go into my mirror, go to my closet, pull something out that's going to make me feel so good as I step out. And your fits do that. So I want to hear more about your design. Where do you really get a lot of the inspiration for what you're going to create?
For what I'm doing. So it's all about Black joy, and it's really an homage to my mother. I grew up in Miami, Florida, and my mother was very much a part of the Black arts movement. I grew up in an Orthodox African-American Muslim household, so it was all about political activism, and I just grew up in a very, what we would describe today as a woke household. What we read, what we ate, who we spent our company with, you name it. And so I was around all these women, and it was all about natural, iconic, modest beauty. And my mother had great style, and my grandmother, my great aunts, they all had great style. And my mother would wear these amazing tunics and caftans and beautiful wrap skirts. And I always loved fashion. I think fashion was really my first love as an artist. So when I decided to do the company, I really took inspiration from my huge collection of vintage, from the 60s, from the 70s, from the 80s, because I feel that's when fashion made sense, like really good quality American sportswear. And I was seeing Ankara African wax fabric being worn by really chic women in New York and London, and I was like, I'm gonna do that everywhere. So when we relocated from New York City 8 years ago, it was really a friend who suggested I start a company because everybody in Seattle has like a side hustle or a company. And I knew immediately what I wanted to do. Let's put like all these textiles that I've been collecting for years to work. And then I just mixed it through the lens, you know, of what my mother wore and what I knew working women would want. And then it was just the Oula company. And I just did it. I did not write a business plan. I intuitively knew that it would work, this particular type of silhouette. I knew that the theme and the feel of it would work because people want something that's bold, that's beautiful, like you said, that makes them really happy. I wore like a pink midi dress the other day. And a woman was in her car and she started clapping for me and blowing kisses because it just made, you know, it lifted her spirits and it made her so happy. So that's the vibe. And that's always been the vibe. And when I see, you know, other women and young girls wearing it and they're able to articulate their own personal style through it, it just brings me so much joy.
Oh, you know what? To be honest, I mean, I'm telling you, I have had this for, we're going to do something else with this dress. And so I've had this dress for like a month. And I literally, I was like, no, because my son was like, Mom, you know, that box has been sitting there, that box was sitting there. I said, no. I opened it, made sure everything was in there. And I've been letting it sit because I was like, no. When I have her on the show, I am putting this on. And literally, I came out of my office beaming because I'm like, this is so cute.
Well, it's supposed to be an heirloom piece. One of the reasons that I chose Ankara fabric, and we also use a lot of dead stock textiles, like vintage textiles, is because the quality of the fabric, the durability of the fabric, you know, I want you to hold on to the piece and wear it forever, you know, and if you find a silhouette in our line that works for you, we're always going to have it in amazing prints Everything is small batch. So when it's gone, but there's always gonna be something like even more amazing. And so it's for you to hold on to, pass it down to your daughter, to give to a girlfriend, you know, to wear it in different ways. And it's seasonless. That's another thing. You can wear it year round. So in the summer, I would have worn this style, which is a sophisticate, like without jeans. We're transitioning in the fall, so I'll wear it with jeans. And then when it gets a little colder, I'll put on like a boot, and then I'll put on a faux fur. But I really wear my Ankara year round, and I just layer it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear. I was just saying this. I'm like, I love what you have on today, too. Clearly another. I mean, that's really what it's about. And I think that a lot of what you're doing also, too, speaks to a lot of the aesthetic of a lot of these young girls coming out, trying on their own style. Like you said, I mean, even having the cuffs in, you know, earlier so that we can show off our bangles and doing things like that, that actually having the cuffs up so we can accentuate our earrings, all of these kinds of things.
All these things make sense. I mean, my sister-in-law, I mean, I just love this because my hair, I mean, it's been natural for like, oh my goodness, like 30 years now. Wow. And so lately I've been wearing it really short, but I just love this, you know, collar, the stand-up collar. You know, it's a level of chicness, period. Even if I didn't choose to like wear an earring with it, it's just finished and it looks great, you know? And then even with that, if you wanted to like layer a whole bunch of, you know, necklaces with it, it's still gonna look great. And I really believe, I mean, when I wear jewelry, it's always a mix. But I also wear a lot of my mother's jewelry and my great aunt's jewelry. So I really encourage people to personalize it and to really treat the prints like a neutral. Like treat it the same way you would treat like leopard print or zebra print or any type of animal print, and mix it with animal prints too. That's fun to do as well. Like, you know, I have these amazing pants that are leopard and I mix it with the Oula. I'm always for a strong graphic statement, and I feel like, you know, Black women, we're strong, we have iconic natural beauty. We should be celebrating that all the time. And I often get asked, you know, by a lot of white women, because I have a lot of white women customers in Seattle, is it okay for me to wear it? Of course it's okay for you to wear it, because it's all about celebrating beauty, all different types of beauty, and also promoting the diversity of the diaspora through the way that you dress. So it's been great.
Well, you know, I think that that's phenomenal. And it's one thing that, you know, I was saying to my friend, because I love textile print. I love African fabrics, African textiles, prints, all of that for me, and different patterns. And so I do a lot of my shopping in Atlanta. They had more stuff. It's been more accessible. So I love now being connected to Oula.
I know, now you can come and like, you don't have to go like to Atlanta to get your stuff. I mean, it's interesting that you say that, because there are, you know, Maryland, Atlanta, and Texas, some places in LA, there are a few pockets in the US where you could actually get your textile from. We source from, well, Ankara, we source from all over. So West Africa, of course, but also India. I mean, a lot of the West African factories, they collaborated with Indian factories, you know, and then of course, there's a lot of Ankara that's made like in the village, you know? So I get it from everywhere. And I love to travel. And in COVID, I haven't been able to do as much as I want to. So, but when I go, I'm always in the market. This is the first thing I do. My husband is from Sierra Leone. When I'm there, I'm in the market. You know, when we were in Tanzania, in East Africa, they have a different type of textile. I buy it from there. I have a sewer who's from Uganda. I'm like, can you send home for something? You know, so that we can have a diversity of materials. And then I get a whole bunch from India. And then the really luxury brand of Ankara, a lot of that is made in the Netherlands. So we get a lot of it from Europe too. But I don't, discriminate. Whenever I see like a good dynamic print that I think customers will like, I buy it.
Yeah. Because I think that really tells the story. And so much for me is about solid pieces in my wardrobe, right? I mean, when we talk about building a basic, you know, style, a lot of it is like a real bold piece, kind of with some muted pieces or some real simple pieces. Like what you just described, by throwing some jeans on and having that amazing fabric on top. I mean, that's really what it's about. And it's so funny for me to be sitting here and talking with you about fashion, because I have never even thought of myself in any way as some type of fashion icon, or like a person who, you know, I just like, oh, I love that. That looks cute, you know. Oh, and
But you have your own look. I mean, I can tell when I first met you. I mean, you've got your bold lip and your glasses, your hair up. I mean, even that's what people, they may not think of themselves as fashion people, but the way that you present yourself to the world, that is performance art.
Right.
You're telling the world who you are and what you wear, even if you're not like thinking about it deeply. But now that you are, and then you can refine your craft. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at this year. That's because last year it was all of that. It's like, dang, you always stepping out, man. You always dress, and I'm like, this just what's in my wardrobe. You know, like this is just me getting dressed. But now I see like, oh, I understand, because there is a certain, you know, aesthetic that comes out, or like you just said, you know, there's a certain style that pops off. And it's like, then I started to gravitate to certain pieces like bold lenses, right? Just started to become a thing. And I'm like, I'm always gonna wear bangles. I'm always gonna wear earrings, you know, like every day. And you just start building like that. So I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about your history. And I know after the break, you brought us some looks that we're going to be able to show the audience, because Oula Company has a lot of great looks going on.
Thank you.
And so I'm excited for that. And after this break, we're going to get right into that.
Okay, cool.
All right, you guys stay tuned. I am loving this discussion I'm having with Erika Massaquoi of Oula Company. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My parents coming over here as refugees meant that they didn't really have anything when they came to America. Having reliable healthcare and having a reliable doctor was really important. Cộng đồng của tôi, trạm y tế của tôi.
我的社区，我的诊所。Mi comunidad, mi clínica.
بلشدة هي بقارها.
My community, my clinic.
We're the Yard Bros. I'm Taco.
I'm Tia.
And this is our love story.
So we've been together for 14 years and married for 12.
So we met at a choir rehearsal.
No.
No. Which way?
We met at church.
Oh, you're talking about the very first.
The very first interaction.
When you were shady. Okay.
I was not shady.
And I was like,
Oh,
will
I
you?
remember that.
And then it cuts off. And then I was like, marry me. And then I peeled these bars.
But it stopped being about each other. And so COVID helped us to return to, wow.
We matter. You and I matter.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to our love story.
We're the Yard Bros.
And vote Black Love.
We're right here at East Precinct. It doesn't get any closer than this right now. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents.
As a small independent media company, we rely on the financial support of individuals and business members to stay on the front lines of the news that's important to you.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Chats with Trae. I am here with Erika Massaquoi of the Oula Company, and I'm very excited. Thank you so much for joining me again. You know what? We have been having a really great conversation because we understand how much fashion is really at the heart of the character in person. It's really like an outward expression of who you are, and I'm so thankful that you have some amazing pieces. I'm just gonna stand up real quick because I am wearing this piece right here, and you were telling me there's several different ways I could wear the belt. I could do it as a scarf. I could wear it up in my hair. I mean, your pieces really are versatile.
So I think about them because I want them to be convertible, you know, for you to wear them a lot of different ways, not just seasonless, but every time you wear the garment, you can wear it in a new way. So you're wearing yours high on your waist, which is one way. You can wear it around your neck as a scarf. You can wear it around your neck and tie it into a pussy bow. That's another way. Or you can wear it as a scarf hanging down. So those are the different ways that you can style it, you know. In addition to like styling it for season, you can style it. So every time you're putting it on, it's a new garment. It's fresh for you as a, you know, wearer.
Yeah, you know what, and that's one of the things that I'm always looking for is versatility in my pieces, because I want durability as well. I think one of the things that I wanted to really talk to you about is that over time, I feel like there's been a real maybe decline in durability. You were just talking about the strength of fabrics and why you source fabrics the way you do. That is also a part of it, right?
I mean, of course, there's so much fast fashion, right? Things you buy today, gone tomorrow. You buy a t-shirt, you wash it once or twice, then there's a hole in it. It's really ridiculous. So all that stuff is ending up in landfills. I mean, it's just terrible for the environment. So my goal is to have zero waste. I don't ever want Oula ending up in a landfill. And of course, when you're doing a large production, you always have some left over. So we upcycle as much as we can. We upcycle into children's wear, and we also upcycle into homeware. So that's been fun with my daughter. She's still at that age where she wants to do mommy and me. But that's been also another segment to be able to capture, you know, for Mother's Day, for holiday pictures, and people really love the homewares. So I found the homewares as well as the masks have been the entryway for people to be introduced to Oula, and then they'll go back and buy a dress. And then you've got like a customer, because I think in this COVID time, fashion has really changed. And I was able to sustain my company because we were a small company. I was a small business, like a one-girl band working with contractors. And when COVID started, I made a few masks, literally for my friends. And I put it on Facebook. They said, Erika, make the Facebook post live. And then it was just like an avalanche of orders. Wow. And we were working for months, like 18, 20-hour days, just to get to scale. But that says something about the type of business that we are. It's service-oriented. You know, it's consumer-based. Consumers were demanding masks, so we made masks. And I was able to pivot because I'm a small business. You know, I can say, let's hold off on making dresses right now. Nobody wanted to buy another dress. People were losing their jobs, people were sick. People wanted to feel safe. They wanted masks, so we started making masks. And then when they wanted to dress again, then they wanted something easy. So then I introduced the Midi. You could wear it as a house dress, you could wear it at a grocery store, or if you wanted to like do date night at home with your husband, you could do that as well. So I'm really about being responsive, but the way that I'm able to do that is because I'm small. I'm lean, and when I need to shift and change, I can.
You know what, and that's part of it. I mean, I was gonna ask you about that too, because I was working with a woman up here in the North End, and that's exactly what she does. She takes scraps of material, fabrics from other producers, and she basically says, look, what we do is we put that fabric together to make something else, whether it is a pillow covering, or they were doing these little aprons. I mean, there's ways to really utilize fabric in a variety of ways, and I love that you have been able to shift and pivot like that. I want to talk to you a little bit too, because you're just mentioning it as a business owner, you know, like you just said, kind of almost a one-woman band with these contractors. How has it been during COVID for you? You know, your daughter, you just mentioned your daughter there, probably having to shift and do kind of homeschool things, and all of us have been dealing with that. How has that been for you?
I mean, one of the reasons that I think Oula has worked for me is because I created the company to accommodate my lifestyle. I didn't want to be one of these, like, you know, really scrappy startups where the company was running me. You can run into that. So I've been able to grow it slowly at a pace that matched my lifestyle. My husband travels all the time. You know, when we moved to Seattle, everything shifted for me. Before, my career was as an art girl in New York. You know, I was working as a curator at the Whitney Museum while I was like also getting my PhD. And then my last job was as a dean as a Fashion Institute of Technology. So when I came and I had a little girl, I wanted to be present for her. You know, school ends at like 3 o'clock sharp. So I had to figure out something that would accommodate my lifestyle. And so a small business, you know, has really accommodated my lifestyle. I work out of my home studio, you know, so I'm able to like cook dinner while I'm working. After they go to bed and go to sleep, I can work. So you're kind of working all the time. But if it's something you love, it kind of doesn't become an issue, really, because I really, really love what I do. So that's how I've been able to make it work. But it's not easy, particularly, and before COVID, it wasn't easy. And then during COVID, now with homeschooling layered on top of it, it's been difficult. And I've been talking to other women who are entrepreneurs, particularly if they have young children, toddlers, and they need that face time. It's been a bit of a struggle. And I just feel really blessed that I've been able to keep the company afloat, you know, during this time, and to do good work that's needed. For me, I mean, regardless of what area of art and design I've worked in, I really wanted to use art and design as a catalyst. either as a catalyst for public policy, as a catalyst for economic development. I mean, with Oula, even though we source globally, everything is made locally, you know? And I also wanted to diversify what it means to be made in the USA. There are master sewers of color all over this country who are creating excellent work. I mean, what we're wearing was created by women who are creating excellent work, and they have their families to support. So, you know, I like to pay it forward that way. You know, people support me and I support other women. And I think if we keep supporting each other as women, you know, we're the backbone of almost everything, right? Then we find a way to feed ourselves.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Couldn't agree even more, to be honest, because what I model a lot of my work after is such a collaborative style. It's built on relationship. It is